All right, I'm live. Hi, everyone. I'm just gonna get situated here and then we'll begin. So let me see.
I'm live.
Oh, I can hear myself.
Hi, everyone. I'm just gonna get situated here and then
Okay. That's on my YouTube page. Where are you? Okay. So I have the question and answer box enabled. It will be to the right of your screen. So you're right, and it's to the right, so you can ask your questions there because I will be having a live Q&A towards the end of this call, towards the end of our conversation and our discussion together. So to the right is the question answer box. Let me make sure. All right. All right, so let's begin. So obviously, if you watched today's video that I uploaded to my YouTube channel earlier this morning, or read the blog post on my website at kajalpande.com, you are probably, or you're coming here from my newsletter, you probably know what we're going to be talking about today. And today's monthly soul talk is going to be on detachment. And so I want to first kind of share with you how I got the idea. Oh, look at my hair. I just took a shower, so my hair is very frizzy. So I want to share with you kind of how I got the idea to do this in the first place. So I was sitting in meditation and I wanted to give more. I wanted to kind of create a conversation or create a way for me to do these live group coaching calls for my audience to kind of get a feel for what I'm passionate about, which is helping people have their own inner transformations and to change their lives from the inside out. And I was thinking it'd be great to get on a call with, a bunch of us and talk about specific topics and then host like a little live Q&A towards the end. So that's exactly what we're going to be doing. And I'm going to do this probably every month. So every month there will be a free soul talk workshop, that's what I've called it, on a specific topic. And this month's topic is on detachment because it is something that is so prevalent in my own life right now. And I want to share a little bit of background with you. Usually the videos or the blog posts you see on my website or my YouTube channel have a lot to do with what's going on in my own life. I always teach or share what I'm going through myself and how I'm processing it myself because I feel like that makes it relatable and that gives me an opportunity to learn. And I remember reading this quote by Yogi Bhajan, which says, "You need to teach what you need to learn." You need to teach what you need to learn, something along those lines. And so whenever I need to learn something, the best thing we can do is teach it. And because in that teaching of it, we learn it. So today I'm going to be teaching you or guiding you through a soul talk on detachment. And I just want to put it out there, I have enabled questions and answer in this conversation we're going to have. So if you have questions for me as you watch this video, put them into the right of your screen. There's a question, ask your question box. So put the questions right there and I will ask the questions towards the end. And if the question isn't enabled, will someone go ahead and like kind of pop a comment to me telling me that, yeah, they can know that the questions is enabled, so I can just know that it's enabled for you and it's good to go so we're not running into problems later. That'd be really great. Thank you. All right, so let's talk about detachment. If you watched my video this morning or earlier today, or read my newsletter, or read the blog post on my website, kajalpandi.com, you know that I shared a personal story with you about my attachment I had to the views, the numbers, the likes, the comments, the engagement, the whatever, whatever we need to do to feel validated for our work, what we're doing, and who we are, right? And it so heavily affected me. And for some reason this month, I was really, really focusing on that. And that's where most of my attention focus was this month, was to really look at all the things that I have attached myself to. And the things that we attach ourselves to are the thoughts, the beliefs, the people, relationships is a huge one, places, the circumstances of our life. He said this, she said this, they think that, they want me to do this. We attach so much of our energy to so many things all the time that most of us are walking around feeling extremely depleted and extremely de-energized, for lack of a better word. And why do we attach ourselves to things? Why do we do that? I say attachment to things kind of gives us a meaning. It kind of gives us an experience of the thing. And for example, most of us grew up with our parents being very attached to our behavior. So if we behaved good, or if we behaved good, we got rewarded for good behavior. We were called good girl, good boy. Maybe our parents would treat us to an ice cream cone. And if we were, misbehaving, or didn't follow what our parents wanted us to do, or we bad behaved badly, we got like kind of punished for it. We didn't get rewarded for it. So we started learning this idea of attachment at a very, very young age, because we were taught to attach meaning to things, because in order for us to have the experience of something, we need to be attached to it. If you're not attached to something, you're not going to really have the experience of it. I say this because if you're not attached to what people think of you, then you're not going to have the experience, or you're not going to have a feeling, or it's not going to move you what people think of you. But if you're someone who's heavily attached to what people think of you, then you're going to have this experience of that attachment. And it's a very unconscious way of going about things. Let me take a sip. It's a very unconscious way of going about things. So, and I say in our attachment is our suffering. And the reason I say that is because if we aren't attached to something, we usually are not affected by it. And I like to use this example that I wrote in my newsletter earlier today, is that my dad is so heavily attached to me getting a higher degree, to me having, in his eyes, a master's, a PhD, a doctorate, medical degree, law degree, whatever. He is so heavily attached to it that he suffers so greatly from it, because I'm not doing that. I'm not in a graduate program. I'm not going to school. I'm not pursuing higher education, because I don't feel called to do it. It doesn't feel aligned to what I want to do with my life. And I've accepted that fact that I'm not going to go get a higher degree or get a higher education, because I don't feel like I need it. But his idea is that I need it. And for the longest time, my worth was always measured on what I was doing, and most importantly, the grades that I was getting. If I was excelling in school, what kind of profession I was going to be in. I was going to be originally a doctor. That's what I'd set out to do as a biology pre-med major in undergrad. I switched over to international relations and wanted to be a lawyer, and then a foreign services person. So my dad has attached so much meaning to what he thinks I should do. And because of that, he suffers. And my worth, or who I am, is measured on what I do. So I'm not good enough until I have the higher degree or higher education to him. But I don't believe that. I don't believe that a higher degree or higher education or a professional career or whatever makes me somehow more good enough, more capable, or more intelligent. It doesn't. I don't have that attachment towards it. So I don't experience his belief that I need to have that I need to have a higher degree to feel good enough. That's his. In his not enoughness of me, he experienced this kind of pain, this kind of suffering, because I'm not doing what he thinks I should be doing. But I don't experience it because I have not attached my sense of who I am and a sense of meaning to it for myself. I haven't done that, right? So I have take a drink. I have this process that I wrote really briefly on the blog post of the video on practicing detachment. And that is, I'm going to walk you through it right now. And that is how to practice detachment. Obviously, if you're watching this video, if you're here, this is something that you want to work on in your own life, is practicing detachment, right? So first step is to acknowledge, totally acknowledge. Hold on, let me pull up that post so I can use it as a reference. So the first step is to acknowledge. Acknowledge that you are clinging on to something. Ask yourself this question right now. What area in your life do you feel pain? Do you feel angst? Do you feel like you're suffering in? Is it your relationship with someone? Is it a career that you're in? Is it um, the outcome of a result or a project or something that you want to happen, that you're so heavily attached to the outcome of something you want to happen? Ask yourself, what am I clinging on to right now? What am I so desperately wanting? Are you wanting money? Are you clinging on to the lack of money that is prevalent in your life right now? Acknowledge what you are clinging on to. And this can be a thought, this can be a person's decision, this can be the weather, this can be the way your body's looking, this could be the past, this could be what you ate for lunch earlier this afternoon, this could be the worry of the future. Ask yourself, what am I clinging on to right now? And the next question to ask yourself is, why am I clinging on to this? What kind of meaning am I looking from this experience that I think only my attachment towards it will give me this? So I want to use an example of money. Most of us are we cling on to money like it's God. It's literally the God of the world right now. That's what runs the show. We cling on to money, okay? And we cling on to money to the point that we have a really, really hard time spending it. We may go to the grocery store and we want to buy this and this and this, but we don't do it because we're so clingy of our money that we don't want to give it away. I don't want to give it away. I want to have money. So you just compromise and you get just one or two things, or you get the cheaper version of what you actually want. In that attachment that you have towards the money, you are creating this mindset of lack. You feel like, okay, the reason you're so attached to the money is because you feel that if you don't attach to it, somehow it won't be yours. You won't have it anymore because you feel like giving it away means that I won't have money anymore. So in your attachment, you're creating suffering. You're not allowing the money to freely flow to you. You're not experiencing abundance of money because you're so heavily attached to the money. And what you attached, you basically kind of constrain. I like to think of it as like if you were to think of a pipe, and when there's a clog in it, the water doesn't flow through. Think of your attachment as that clog in that pipe. The water's not going to heavily flow through. So whatever you want to flow in your life, the abundance of money, the abundance of love, the abundance of compassion, the abundance of time, if you're so heavily attached to it, how is it going to flow? Because what you're doing is you're taking the energy and you're taking the movement of energy and you're just constraining it, like creating a bend in the hose so the water won't freely flow when you're like watering your lawn or your yard. It's just like that. Your attachment gets in the way of things flowing freely to you. So acknowledge that. Acknowledge, what are you clinging on to right now? And like I said, it could be a thought, a person, money, anything, okay? So maybe if you are watching this, maybe you want to pull out your journal and you want to write this down. Ask yourself, first write down acknowledgement, and then write down, what am I clinging on to right now that is causing me to feel this pain, this suffering, this really low vibe space with this experience of this relationship I'm in, or this job, or this experience of money. So what am I clinging on to? Step one. Now, I want you to begin the process of inquiry, asking yourself why you're holding on to this. What is it serving? How is it serving you? The reason we hold on to something is because, in a way, it's serving us, okay? If it wasn't serving us, we wouldn't hold on to it. So somehow, you holding on to your thought about how someone should behave with you, you think is serving you. Or you holding on to your attachment to the money and not spending it and saving it for, a rainy day or something to go wrong, how is it serving you? Answer that question. I want to give you an example. Let's see, in my own life, I'll use the validation. For me, I was so heavily attached to people validating who I was, my work, especially my work, that I would just constantly be like checking my numbers to see how many views I got on a YouTube video, or how many people retweeted this, or how many people visited my blog today, or how many emails did I get from people wanting to work with me, or whatever. I was so heavily attached to seeking that validation, to feel proud, to feel worthy, to feel good about the work I was doing in the world, that it created so much stress, so much discomfort, and so much like constraint on my energy that I wasn't able to freely flow. Most of the times when I make my videos or write my blog posts, right now, even as I'm talking to you, I don't have an outline. I don't sit here and prepare what I'm going to be talking about. I literally just think of an idea that comes to my mind in my meditation, and or ask myself the question, what am I going through right now that I feel like someone else could benefit or be helped by? And then that's what I make my video on, or that's what I do a little talk that I'm doing with you right now on, or that's what I write a blog post on. And that's how I come up with my ideas. And I allow myself to just become an open channel, and see whatever information is coming through me to come through me, because I trust that whatever's coming through me is going to be of service, is going to help someone. And so when I try to kind of get in the way of that by seeking validation, seeking worthiness, seeking good enoughness, by views, numbers, likes, engagement, I constrain that energy. I'm not able to do my best work. I'm not able to serve at the highest level that I can serve and help people. So when I started inquiring myself about that, why I'm doing this, why am I holding on to this, I realized that it felt more secure and safe to know that I was being validated by someone else, in order to give myself the permission to validate myself. I was basing someone else's validation as a permission slip for me to validate myself. When I realized how ridiculous that is, that I was waiting for someone else to validate me before I would validate myself, I was like, why would I give someone that power? Why would I give someone that power to decide if I was worthy, if I was good enough, if I was capable, if I was, of high service? Why would I give someone else that power? It feels so depleting. It feels so heavy. It doesn't make me feel good. And by holding on to it, the only reason I was holding on to it, and the only reason it was quote unquote serving me, it was an opportunity for me to keep playing small, to keep not owning my light, to not step into my magnificence, to keep myself just in a state of self-pity and saying, oh, poor me, poor me, poor me. And when I realized that doesn't make me feel good. And the key is to, when you inquire about this, the key is to ask yourself, really just sit with it and ask yourself, how does it make me feel? Tap into how it's making you feel. The holding on to it, how is it making you feel? And if it's not making you feel the way you want to feel, like good, elevated, energized, empowered, supported, loved, then why are you holding on to it? It's you're giving your power away. And then ask yourself, why am I giving that power away? So that's step 2. All right, step 3. I like this step a lot. This is where a lot of us get tripped up, we get confused. And that is surrender. Surrender means let go of your ideas, let go of your thoughts, let go of your feelings about what is. Realize that by surrendering, you're choosing peace. the concept of surrender and let go is really tough for a lot of us. We think, oh, I can't let go. I can't let go of that. If I let go of that, then nothing's going to happen. I have to keep clinging to it. When you cling to something, how is your hand? Your hand is in this very tight position, right? And it's like you feel the pressure, you feel the constraint, you feel the uncomfortableness of your hand. You can only hold your hand clingingly like this for so long. And when you let go, you feel this like release, you feel this energy just flowing. Actually, do this exercise with me, okay? Take both your wrists, go like this, and just like kind of cling, like put some amount of pressure right here, okay? Just hold it, okay? Now I want you to just let go. Do you feel the energy just moving again and flowing again? That's what letting go is. It's letting go so the energy can freely flow. When energy doesn't freely flow, that's what causes blockage. That's what causes you to feel limited. That's what causes you to feel that something isn't working. That's what causes you to feel stuck. Energy is supposed to free flowly. Energy is supposed to flow freely. I always say things backwards. Excuse me for that. Okay? So that's what surrender is. Surrender is to allow yourself to free flow, a letting go. So just, let's do this again, okay? Hold this. And let go. Do you see the release of that tension? Do you feel it's just completely lightened up? That's what happens when you surrender. When you surrender your thoughts, your ideas about how something should be, or your perceptions about how something should happen, or how something is going to manifest, how someone is going to behave, how your hair is going to sit. Like, for example, my hair right here is not sitting the way I want it to sit. It keeps falling out, right? Now I could sit here and fiddle with it this whole entire conversation. I could just be like, all right, I'm gonna surrender it. It wants to stay right here. And the minute I just do that, I just stop being bothered by the piece of hair that doesn't want to stay properly in my head. Surrender is just letting go, giving up your thoughts, your ideas, your feelings about what is, and realizing that by surrendering, you're choosing peace. Okay? And when you surrender, you can use this mantra that I made a video about. And that is mantra is, peace is my power. Peace is my power. So any single time you feel yourself so heavily attached to anything, especially where we get tripped up the most is how we think something should manifest and what people think of us. Any single time you find yourself so heavily attached, just affirm, I surrender, I let go, and in letting go, I choose peace. Peace is my power. Peace is my power. Doesn't that feel better? Right? So the fourth step is practice. Repeat these steps. Acknowledge, inquire, surrender with small things like I just did with my hair. Okay, acknowledge that this piece of hair is driving me insane, literally. Okay. I inquired why I'm holding so much heavy attachment that my hair must sit this way. And I just surrender that it wants to stay like this. That's it. And now I don't care. I really don't care. The fact that it's just getting in my face, oh well, it's just there. You know, I surrendered. And in that surrendering, I'm choosing peace and saying, peace is my power. Does that feel good? Yeah? I wish someone could say, yeah, right back to me. All right, awesome. Looks like you figured out how to ask a question. So if you're watching now, you're tuning in, I mentioned at the earlier on the call that you can ask me questions to the right of the screen. There's a little box to ask me questions live. So put your questions there. Any questions you have, I won't mention your name. I'll just anonymously answer your question, because I know some of us don't like to be out there in that way. So ask your questions. If you have any questions for me, I will answer any questions if you have any questions. I really hope this 3-step process that I just shared with you, acknowledge, inquire, surrender, is going to help you to practice detachment. And in that practicing of detachment, you're going to realize that you're going to free up so much of your energy to really focus it on what it is that you truly, truly, truly desire and how you truly, truly, truly wish to feel. And the reason I practice detachment is because I know that when I attach my ideas, my thoughts, my feelings to how something should be or someone should be or something should work out, the whole person that suffers is me. You'll notice that, like, we do this in relationships so often, and I'll just share it in like my own personal relationship. Sometimes I put so much pressure on my partner to be a certain way. It's like, okay, you have to be this way, and if you're not this way, then this may not work for us, blah blah blah. But I realize that my attachment to how I think he should be is what creates the suffering I experience. So if I can just let go of my attachment to how I think he should be or how he should do something, I don't suffer. I'm just like, okay, I let go. I can't control how someone's going to behave, how someone's going to react, what someone's going to think. I can't control that. The thing I can control, the thing I do have power, is how I'm going to behave, how I'm going to react, and what meaning I'm going to give to the experience. That's the only thing I have power over. And detachment is choosing peace. And because in my peace is in my power, sorry, yeah, in my peace is my power. In my peace is my power. When I'm at peace with myself, I'm the most powerful then, because I'm coming from this place of compassion, non-judgment. I'm coming from this place of openness. So energy has to flow. When we detach ourselves, we allow energy to flow freely. Let's take a deep breath and exhale. I really hope this is serving you. It is. I think you can like clap or something. Let me see. Yeah, I think you can like clap or something. I don't know, like Periscope has the likes. Okay, let's see if I got any questions. If you want to ask me any questions, let's do them. If you want to ask me any questions, go ahead and put your questions in now. And I'm going to see if there's any questions, and then I'll answer them. Mm-hmm. Okay, so all right. Looks like I don't have any questions. I'm gonna give you a few more minutes to ask any questions if you have any questions. In the meantime, I'm gonna share that I am relaunching my group coaching program, which is called Self-Love Simplified, because I am so passionate about the power of self-love. It saved my life, literally saved my life. If you've been watching me or following me for a while, you know my history of suicidal depression and anxiety and all of that, and where I was and where I am today, and how loving myself has radically allowed me to step into my power, reclaim my magnificence, and allow me to do the work that I'm doing right now in the world. And this self-love simplified group coaching program is going to teach you how to harness the power of self-love to shift your story from the inside out, because everything in your life is a reflection of the relationship you have with yourself. And so many of us are not even aware of the relationship we have with ourselves because we don't nurture it. We're not living a culture in a society that nurtures that relationship we have with ourselves. We're just constantly told who to be, what to think, how to behave, how to act, how to fit in. And when you want to, when you want to really, really, really take charge of your life and change your story and create an empowered relationship with yourself, you have to first understand where you are. And in that understanding, you realize that, okay, I can't create any kind of change in my life until I fully, own and accept where I am. And acceptance change. And this group coaching program is a 4-week program that walks you through exactly everything I did. And I'll share a lot of personal stories that I have not shared with anyone on the internet with you about how I transformed and transcended my relationship to the one that I have today, which is loving, which is kind, which is supporting, which is empowering, which is based heavily rooted in love. If you're all interested, go to my website, www.kajalpandey.com, KAJALPANDEY.com, and under the Work With Me tab, go to Group Coaching. And you can ask me questions. If you have questions, email me at kajalpandey.com, and I'll answer your questions about the group coaching program. And if you're ready to enroll, go ahead. Enrollment's open. We begin Saturday, June 4th at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. I would love to be your partner, your accountability partner, your motivator, your support system on this journey. All right, looks like I have a question. How do you find the confidence to coach others? That's a great question. You know, I remember back in 2012 when I was going through this whole I had my midlife crisis really early in life. I had it at the age of 21. And that's what really set me on my own spiritual awakening and spiritual journey. And that's what led me to where I am today. And so when I don't remember how I got the guts to tell someone this. When someone asked me what I wanted to do with my life, I said I want to be a life coach. This isn't back in 2012. I had no idea what a life coach was or what they did. I just blurted it out. And I always intuitively always knew that I was here on the planet to serve. I was always here to help people because helping people just lights me up. It ignites me. And that's why I love working one-on-one with my clients, because it's like that one-on-one deep connection where I hold the space for you. I'm your accountability partner, and I'm here holding the space for you to just process whatever you're processing and to be your guide and pull you out and just show you your own magnificent light and your own beautiful unlimitlessness. And that's what I love about coaching. So how did I find the confidence to coach? I started putting myself out there. I was really terrified of being live on camera like I am right now. At what point in my time I couldn't even hold a conversation with someone. Suffer from social phobia, and I just knew that if I was ever going to feel confident in who I was, if I ever was going to stop feeling trapped by socially awkward on people, I had to put myself out there. And I was a big YouTube watcher. So I started making videos on YouTube. And as I started making videos on YouTube, I started realizing that I had so much to say because I had changed so much as a person. I had transformed my life and my world. And I really strongly felt so much internally stronger than ever before that I felt like if I could do it for myself, then I could definitely coach or guide other people through the same process that I did for myself. So that's where I kind of gained the confidence to coach others. And something else I started doing was I started reaching out to a lot of other coaches who did spiritual life coaching or success coaching or empowerment coaching or whatever type of coaching. I started reaching out and I started having these conversations with them. And I said, how did you get started? What did you do? And most of the times they were so open, receptive, and they helped give me so much feedback and helped and advice. And I would get on these Skype calls for 30 minutes and I would just pick their brain and they would be like, yeah, I'm rooting for you. You can do this. You can do this. And that's what I did. I just began by putting myself out there. When you start being vulnerable and you start putting yourself out there, that's when you really start stepping into your power, because in your vulnerability lies your potential. If you're never going to choose to be vulnerable, how will you ever know what you're capable of? And that's what I did. And that's kind of what helped me to gain my confidence. I hope that answers your question. So if you're looking to be a coach, which is an amazing, fulfilling job, start putting yourself out there. Ask yourself, okay, what have I been through that I went through that I feel like I transcended or I learned something from, and how can I help other people have the same experience and do it for themselves? And in that, you're going to realize that, oh my gosh, I was able to do so much, and I can help other people. I can be the lighthouse for someone else so they can realize that they're the lighthouse too. And that's how we're going to elevate consciousness and help change the world, one heart and soul at a time. All right, I have another question is, what do you think about to bring you back when you realize that you're clinging to an outcome? Oh my gosh, that's a really good question. Clinging to an outcome. I'll tell you, very personal, because I like being transparent and authentic. When I initially launched my group coaching program last month, I wanted to enroll 10 people. I didn't enroll 10 people. Okay. And I was so heavily attached to 10 people must enroll in this program. And it didn't happen that way. Okay. And I realize now, looking back at it, that the reason I didn't enroll 10 people in it is because I was so heavily clinging to the outcome. I was so heavily wanting 10 people there that my energy of this lack being there, or this intense want, because want is another word for lack. If I want something, the only reason you want it is because you don't have it. And when you keep saying to the universe, I want a loving partner, or I want $1,000, you keep affirming to the universe that I don't have this, and because I don't have this, I want it. But when you switch that around and you say, I am so thankful for my loving partner, or I'm so thankful for the $1,000 I received, now you're affirming in a way where you know that you have it, and you're affirming to the universe, I already know that I have it. I may not physically have it in my hands, but I know energetically it's done. I have it on an energetic level. Everything is energy before it manifests into physical form, right? So energetically, I have it. So when you acknowledge it and you say, I'm so thankful for $1,000 I have, and you realize, oh my gosh, it feels as if you already have it, and you feel expansive, and your energy feels open, and you're willing and open and allowing yourself to receive that. I hope that makes sense. So when I find myself really heavily clinging to an outcome, I just remind myself that I need to let go of how I think it needs to happen. Because my physical mind, my ego mind, my learned false self only has the capacity to know how something did happen. It will never know how something will happen. Okay, I can never know how an outcome will happen. Now, the reason why I say that question is, look back in your life. Everything that's happened in your life, did you ever know how it was going to happen? You only knew how it was going to happen after it had happened. So when you don't know how an outcome will be, why attach yourself to it? Why cling to yourself? Why cling to it? You can only know after it's happened how it happened. That makes sense. So in that, surrender is what you do. This is where I practice surrender. When I find myself so heavily clung to wanting those 10 people to enroll in my coaching program who didn't, I just wrote myself a surrender letter. I just said, Dear God, dear universe, whatever you call it. I'm okay with the word God. So I just said, Dear God, I surrender my thoughts about how many people I think need to enroll in my coaching program, or I surrender how my partner should behave. I surrender my thoughts about how how the money will manifest, or how I will get this job. I surrender it, and then I burn it. And that's it. I let go, and I say, I release myself from this energy, and I'm open to receive it in any which way that it will come to me. And I trust in that. And that's what I do. I hope that makes sense. Was it ever hard to be so vulnerable? That's what I love about you. Oh, thank you. For me, not really. And it's going to be really weird. My whole entire life, I have actually gotten a lot of shit for being authentic, for being real, for being straight up with people. I was never someone who never knew how not to be themselves. And I don't know why. I don't know why. I think this is just kind of my soul's on me. but I don't know how to be anything but myself. So if you're around me in my day-to-day life, if I'm having a bad day, it's going to be written on my face. If I don't like someone, it's going to be written on my face. If I'm having a really loving, exciting day, it's going to be written on my face. It's very, very hard for me to not be honest and real with my emotions. And I learned very early on that if I wanted to serve people, if I wanted to make an impact in people's lives, I had to be very, very real and transparent, because we live in a culture and society today where we're constantly being fed stimulation left and right. So much is going on all the time that people can tell when you're being fake, or when you're not being honest, or when you're feeding them a lie. People can tell. And I just knew that if I was ever going to help people, truly, just truly help people for the pure joy I have of helping people, I had to be really transparent and honest and very vulnerable, because that was the only way I was going to make the biggest impact. That's the only way I was going to be able to be relatable to someone else. You'll notice this: the people that you relate to are the people who are so genuine and real. They don't care. They just share what they're sharing, or they're totally okay and open about who they are, because they know that that's how people will connect to them. And I do that because I want everyone to know that it's 100% okay to be who you are. I'm not perfect. I don't have my life figured out. Yes, I may be a spiritual life coach, and I may talk about spirituality and consciousness, and I may talk about really deep, nitty gritty stuff, but I don't have my life figured out. I'm human, okay? I'm still human. I'm having a human experience, but I'm okay with it. I don't judge myself for my humanness. I embrace my humanness, and I realize that my humanness is my path to my divinity, to the universe, to God, to source, whatever. And in that realization, I'm able to be a little more gentle with myself, but I'm realizing that as I'm more authentic and real with who I am, I give other people the permission to be that, because we need people who are real and authentic, who are vulnerable. And I always keep reminding myself that in my vulnerability lies my potential. So the things that I feel vulnerable in doing, let's say I felt vulnerable being seen and heard, but I went and created a YouTube channel. Because of that, I gained confidence, but because of that, I was able to help so many people. So ask yourself, the things that you feel vulnerable around, they're really just mask for your potential, what you're really capable of doing, what you're really here to do on the planet. Thank you for your question. I really hope that answered it. Oh, let's take a sip. Again, if you have any questions for me, leave them into the right, but the Q&A box is on the right of your screen. As I see them, I will answer the questions. So I really hope, if you liked, I want to also ask you before I forget, is that if you like these monthly soul talk conversations on specific topics, would you like to see one again next month in June? I don't have a topic planned yet. If there's something specific you want me to talk about, shoot me an email at kajal@kajalpandey.com. Let me put that in the chat box so you can see what my email is. Tell me if you got that chat box email that I sent. So if you want to see another soul talk next month on any topic you want, just send me an email at kajal@kajalpandey.com and we can get chatting again. So if you have any questions, please put them to the right of your screen, and as I see them, I will answer them. Mm-hmm. Awesome. Oh, thank you. I'm glad this experience right now is serving you, and I really hope that little seeds were planted in your head and that you will kind of follow them down the rabbit hole. So you have any more questions for me, leave them to the right. And you don't see it. Let's see where I can share my email with you guys. So that way you can shoot me an email. By the way, I love receiving emails from you. So if you're someone who's been a longtime viewer or watcher or um, has been following my work for a while and you haven't emailed me yet, get on it. Send me an email. I really, really love hearing from you. It totally lights up my day and it just makes me feel so warm and fuzzy. So if you want to just shoot me an email and just say, hi, you watched this live call, I'd love that. I'd love to hear from you. Don't feel shy, don't feel afraid. Um, this is what I'm like in person too. I respond to every single email I get. It may take me 24 hours or 48 hours, but I always respond to every single email. Because why not? You know, this is a collaborative experience we're having. This is a group effort. We need to all be there for each other. Okay, let me see if I can put my email anywhere. So there's like a chat box. Have I enabled the chat box? Yes, I have. So if there's a chat box, if you click onto the left of your screen, that's where my chat box is, and you can click the little dialog box, and that's where I put my email. And if you can't find my email, just go to my website at KAJALPANDE. Let me spell that again. KAJALPANDEY.com. My email's there. You can hit the contact tab and you can send me an email that way about your experience with this live call today or what topic you'd like to see for next month's Soul Talk. Let's see if I have any more questions. Oh, this is an interesting question. Being okay with not having my life together. You know, that's what a lot of my clients and I work on is sometimes we feel like we need to have our shit together. We need to be perfect. We need to have everything figured out. And until we do that, we can't do our great work in the world. We can't do what's our highest joy. We can't follow our excitement. We can't be of service. I will tell you this. When I began coaching, I didn't have my shit together. I was not working. I had zero money. I was still figuring shit out. I was not in a very good place with myself, but I knew that I couldn't wait for myself to feel perfect because that wasn't something that was going to happen overnight, and we will never feel perfect. Okay, now if you're looking through perfection as a concept of the ego, then yes, you're never going to feel perfect. But if you can knowingly and experientially know yourself as a perfectly loved child of God, and the reason I say this is because if God created you, which God did, and you can use the word universe, source, whatever feels more comfortable for you, but if the universe created you, then why would the universe make you flawed? That flawedness you learned. You learned yourself to be flawed by the feedback you received from people, the feedback you received from the culture you live in, the feedback you received from society. Okay? If you learned yourself to be flawed, then you can unlearn yourself to be perfect because you already are perfect. It's like you can't learn wholeness. You can only feel whole because why would you be broken? You don't need to be fixed. You're already whole. You're already complete. You're already perfect. And something I like to do is if you're one of those people who has a very hard time accepting the fact that your life is not all together, you don't have your shit together, and you're constantly beating yourself up about it and you're constantly being harsh on yourself, just take your hand, put it on your heart like this, other hand on top of it, take a deep breath in. Let's do this with me right now, okay? If you're on this call right now, let's do it together. Okay, take a deep breath in and release with a big sigh. And say out loud, I am whole and complete now. I am whole and complete now. I am whole and complete now. Now take another deep breath in and let it go. Do that. Just Rest. What does that feel like when you hold your heart like this and you just say, I am whole and complete now? Feels so light. You don't have to wait till you have everything figured out, till all the ducks are in a row for you to accomplish this, achieve this, be here, do this, do that, for you to feel that wholeness and that completeness now. That is already you. You're already whole and complete now. You just got to peel the layers back to tell you that you're not that. Okay? I really hope that you will do that, and that kind of will help you feel more confident from within, as in confident from the inside out, because confidence is an inside out job. Because if you're basing your confidence on what you do, you're never going to feel like you do enough. So base your confidence on who you are. You're an amazing human being. If you're on this call right now, you're obviously on some kind of spiritual path. You're awake, you're conscious, you're aware. You know there's a deeper purpose, deeper meaning to your life. Nothing is a coincidence. If you're watching me right now, then you know there's a deeper meaning to life, and you know there's so much more to you that you're willing to uncover and discover. And that's why you're here. That's why you're even entertaining this right now. So trust in that and keep following those leads, those nudges, those little like subtleties, pokes that you get, keep following those, because those will eventually lead you to that fullness, expansiveness of who you really, really are. And I do a lot of this in my coaching. So if you're looking to work with me, I'm accepting new clients. Yay! Send me an email from my website and we'll see how we can work together. That'd be really awesome. Kind of collaborate and work with you, because this is a very collaborative experience that we have. So if you have any questions, put them to the right of your box and I will answer them. And if I don't have any more questions, I'm going to start wrapping it up here. I always get so energized when I do these. Look at my hair, the hair that I'm practicing detachment with. Okay. All right, so if you guys don't have any more questions, I want to thank you so much for taking the time to be here with me. Thank you for holding the space for me to talk to you. I really hope you learned something valuable here and that it planted a seed in your mind, and that you will continue to water and nurture and blossom the seed into a beautiful tree, your favorite tree. My favorite trees are palm trees. All right, wherever you're in the world, I wish you a blessed, beautiful, miraculous day. And again, if you have anything you want to say to me, you want to send me an email, you want to work with me, whatever, send me an email at kajal@kajalpanday.com. I'd love to hear from you. Thank you so much. Have a blessed rest of your week. Bye.